How's it going, everybody? So I saw this really funny video called Kids Drinking Beer Prank on Cops. I think I smell bacon. And in this video, there's these three kids, and they have these pretty cool mugs that look like you're drinking beer, but really it's just a liquid that I probably would have to guess is either a cooling agent, something that keeps the mug cold, or it's just a gimmicky thing, it has fluid and plastic around, so it looks like there's beer in it, but it's not. Probably got it from, a store like Spencer's or some other gag gift store, maybe Hot Topic or something. And so they're walking across the street, and a cop sees them and pulls them over. And I just want to comment on the legal issue at hand for, I think, a lot of people's confusion. And the legal issue at hand is when the officer saw those kids with the beer mugs, it would probably be enough for a reasonable suspicion detention at the least. Technically speaking, the open container law applies there. They look underage, and from a first glance, an officer would probably have good enough, reasonable suspicion level for immediate detention. Now, at the point of detention, though, once this officer saw that there was nothing in those cups, that it was just empty, anything that she had vanished. So whatever suspicions and stuff like that, it kind of stopped right there because her underlying reason for detention went away. If, once she came up to the kids and saw, oh my gosh, those are empty, they're not real, even though they're deceptively real looking, that officer has no grounds on which to stop them anymore. It would be as silly as if an officer thought that you were armed with something that was illegal, or some like biological agent, but maybe it was just like, I don't know, suntan lotion. You could be as ridiculous as that. The point is that at the moment that officer realized that there was actually no illegal activity going on, that's it. There's no more lawful detention. There's no more reasonable suspicion that a crime has been or is about to be committed. And as far as the identification goes, the identification request, that is actually not legally mandatory in that state. So at the point that she saw that, she could not forcibly request some form of identification. Of course, identification does not mean you have to carry, some sort of card around with you. It just simply means you have to give typically your name and birth year, in some cases your home address. That's what identification means. You're not, at least not yet, although scarily enough it's feeling that way. It's not like Nazi Germany where you have to have papers on you at all times. And so when this officer, tried to get IDs from them, a physical ID that is, she had no legal right to force that or to compel that. And that is largely because, A, if you're just detained, you don't have to do it in Florida. You don't have to do anything until you've been arrested and you're going into booking. You just have to go and put down your name and address or whatever, legally at least there, whenever you've been booked. But outside that, no, it's Fifth Amendment, don't have to speak, don't have to say anything. And of course you could always argue that that's incriminating under the Fifth Amendment to say anything for whatever reason. But she had no legal ability to extract verbally or otherwise an ID from those young guys. And her attitude, man, I mean, apparently that woman got reprimanded, which is very good at the least, but her attitude was scary. And what was even scarier, that there was that one like cop who got it and like immediately was like, oh, haha, that's funny, okay, here we go. But then there was another cop that came there and said, I smell weed, even though, they obviously didn't have any weed. They're trying to film a prank, and that would be like the worst thing they could possibly do in that state, is to actually have like something, drugs or otherwise, on them. And so it showed that 2 out of 3 cops that came to a situation, one was demeaning, pushing her authority, and wanted to exact a pound of flesh, even though she had lost her ability to detain. And the other cop was literally making false claims that they had drugs in them and kept trying to say that. And police, of course, are legally allowed to lie and try to extort, whatever information they want. They can try to say whatever you want to get you to comply with their requests. But that was terrifying, that there were 2 out of 3 officers at a scene who were abusing their authority and in one instance, literally making up lies to try to incriminate people who had not actually committed a crime. I mean, you might say, oh man, they're being douchebags by, like, distracting police. But whatever, at the end of the day, there was no crime committed. It wasn't illegal. And she saw that. And the second she saw that, it should have been over. It should have been, oh, okay, funny, ha ha ha, okay, stop doing that or whatever. She could have said whatever she wanted, but it would have been over, and it should have been over from a legal standpoint. And that's why she got reprimanded. So you know, that's just something to consider when you're looking at these types of situations objectively. Is that police are out there to get you, by and large. They're out there to put you into a jail cell, and that was literally like the statistics on screen was like, yeah, not all cops are douches like that, you know, as you saw, but man, you got 2 out of 3 right there on camera demonstrating that principle. 2 out of 3. You literally had the dichotomy right there. Okay, there's cops who are, you know, understand it, and then there's plenty of them who are out for blood and literally waiting to lie and make up something to get someone thrown into a cage. And that's terrifying. And it's really good that these, you know, these kids weren't doing this for some political purpose or for some, you know, grander purpose of, you know, the First Amendment. They were there just to do a prank, and ironically, they unveiled something very terrifying. That the professionalism and the nature of the police department, and at least in that situation, the majority of the officers was downright sinister. Downright sinister, downright to the bone sinister. There's nothing else to it. When you're there and you're literally saying lies to try to find a way to arrest somebody or to make up something to put them in jail or to get them into trouble, I mean, that there comes a point where you have to say, wow, that's absolute insanity. This needs to be national news. This needs to stop and change. But this is not just happening there in Florida. This is happening all over. So I hope that this gives you some pause for consideration to think about the situation. And I know it's funny and stuff like that, but take this stuff seriously and be active about it. Be proactive. Know your rights. Film police. Don't be bullied around. Because that's what we had there. We had a bunch of bullies. Unfortunately, there was one who at least had some sense of, you know, sensibilities about him to know, okay, that's just a joke. Okay, haha, funny, funny, funny. But the rest, I mean, that's wrong. That's just downright wrong. No matter who you are, that's just wrong. That they're literally looking to lie or make up something to arrest these kids. So take care, everyone, and I will talk to y'all later.